Hey everyone, and welcome to Insight Spark. I am so excited to have you here today. If you love digging into how things actually work, definitely stick around, check out our other explainer videos on the channel, and hey, give our audio podcasts a listen too. We've got some really incredible discussions happening over there. Today, we're unpacking a truly mind-bending source on a topic that affects quite literally every single one of us: aging. More specifically, we're looking at how scientists are learning to hunt down biological trash in our bodies to dramatically increase our health span. It's essentially the science of biological spring cleaning, and the principles behind this method are absolute game changers.
To really get a grip on what happens inside our bodies as we get older, well, imagine a sprawling, super efficient megalopolis, right? Every building has a specific job. You've got power plants, defense headquarters, construction crews fixing the roads. But over time, a glitch happens in a few of those buildings. The workers just stop. They quit their jobs, but, and here's the kicker, they absolutely refuse to move out. And it gets worse. They become incredibly toxic neighbors. They start trashing the local infrastructure, polluting the streets, and actually infecting the healthy people around them. You can't just demolish the building, and you can't easily evict them because they've barricaded the doors. Believe it or not, this is exactly how what we call senescent cells behave inside you.
So that brings us to the big question. Who are these so-called zombie cells, and why are they just so dangerous to our overall health? You see, the scientific community gave senescent cells this completely terrifying yet perfectly accurate nickname because they are fundamentally broken, but they just won't die. They literally just sit around in our tissues, hogging space, and completely wreaking havoc on the whole system.
It's a pretty stark contrast when you look at youth versus aging. When we're young, our bodies run like a Swiss watch, flawless. If a cell wears out, maybe gets zapped by some radiation or picks up a genetic error, it does a very noble thing. It triggers a self-destruct program called apoptosis. It basically takes itself out to keep the tissue clean. But as we age, we accumulate stress, and some of these cells, they kind of forget how to die. I mean, sure, they stop dividing, but they stay metabolically active. They just sit there, stacking up like broken biological trash.
And they're not just sitting quietly. Their main weapon is something called SASP. That stands for senescence-associated secretory phenotype. I know, a bit of a mouthful. Just think of it as a really toxic cocktail. These zombie cells are actively pumping out inflammatory molecules, enzymes, and toxins. It creates this terrifying infection effect where they actually force the perfectly healthy cells next door to go off the rails and enter zombie mode too. It triggers a condition scientists call inflammaging, basically a smoldering, chronic fire inside your body that slowly breaks down your joints, your blood vessels, your brain, and your immune system.
Section 1. The Senolytic Breakthrough. Mayo Clinic's Discovery.
Okay, so everything changed when researchers over at the Mayo Clinic in the US asked a really bold question. They wondered, what would actually happen if we just swept up and removed all this biological trash? That single question led to an entirely new class of medical agents known as Senolytics. The name is a mashup of the Latin word senex, meaning old, and the Greek word lysis, meaning destruction. And these things are incredible. They act like highly trained biological snipers. They hunt down the zombie cells and force them to finally execute that self-destruct program while completely ignoring the healthy tissue right next to them. The early methods used combinations like dasatinib, which started as an anti-tumor drug, mixed with quercetin, which is actually a natural compound you can find in everyday stuff like apples and onions.
To really hammer home the principles of this method, listen to this quote from Dr. James Kirkland. He's the head of the Kogod Center on Aging and the main author and pioneer behind this whole senolytic method. He said, "We proved that removing zombie cells in old mice not only improves their physical fitness, but extends their life on average by 35%, specifically increasing the period of active health rather than just frail existence. We aim at the root of aging itself." Just wow, that is absolutely profound. The goal here isn't just to tack a few extra years onto the end of your life, but to add actual life to your years. We're talking about massively upgrading your health span.
Now hold on a second. Before we talk about how you might actually apply this, I really need to pause for a super strict and absolutely critical disclaimer. We are dealing with incredibly powerful biological mechanisms here. You must always consult your primary care physician before you even think about applying any of these methods, cellular therapies, or taking new supplements. These clinical trials are still in their active phases. Do not go self-medicating or swallowing handfuls of random anti-aging pills from the pharmacy. To stay safe, you absolutely need proper timing, specific cyclical protocols, and expert medical supervision, period.
All right, with that crucial safety note out of the way, let's talk about the practical applications, because the problems this method can solve are just staggering. We're looking at a total paradigm shift in medicine. Instead of just putting a Band-Aid on the symptoms of aging, we're shifting to a preventative repair model. By clearing these zombie cells out of our joints and bone tissue, we can actually halt the destruction of cartilage and things like arthritis, and even trigger natural bone renewal without using harsh hormones. Scientists are looking at this to treat lung fibrosis and even to sweep damaged cells out of our blood vessels. That reduces vessel stiffness and fights back against hypertension and atherosclerosis. We are literally talking about fixing the structural integrity of the human body.
Section 2. The Double Agent Paradox. The Plot Twist. Well, as you know, science is never quite that simple, right? As researchers dug deeper into this, they hit a massive complication. At first, the strategy seemed like a no-brainer. Find the zombie cells, wipe them out, stay young forever. But, plot twist, it turns out not all senescent cells are the bad guys. Some of them are actually unexpected heroes called sentinel cells. In tissues like your skin or your lungs, when you get a fresh injury, some young cells temporarily turn senescent to act like emergency distress beacons. They're basically yelling to your stem cells, hey, we've got a breach over here, get to work on repairs. So here's the paradox. If we use blunt force senolytics and just blindly nuke all the senescent cells, our wounds actually heal a lot slower. And that, my friends, is exactly why scientists are now pivoting to create smart drugs. They need selective agents that only target the chronic old zombie cells while leaving those helpful emergency sentinel cells totally alone.
Section 3. Unexpected anti-aging sources, where the cures are hiding.
So where exactly are scientists finding these highly selective smart agents? Interestingly enough, our anti-aging arsenal is coming from some pretty fascinating places. First up, diabetes drugs. Researchers totally accidentally noticed that patients taking SGLT2 inhibitors like empagliflozin were showing way fewer age-related heart and kidney issues. It turns out, these drugs have a mild built-in senolytic effect. Then, you got researchers modifying natural compounds. For instance, they took berberine, which is an alkaloid from the barberry plant, and tweaked its molecular structure so it penetrates cells 10 to 15 times better, blocking toxic inflammation even at tiny doses. And what about urolithin A? Normally, a perfectly healthy gut microbiome makes this out of the acid found in pomegranates and walnuts. But let's be real, modern diets have kind of wrecked our microbiomes. So scientists are now creating stable synthetic analogs to trigger that cellular cleanup directly. Nature also gives us things like fisetin and curcumin. But honestly, you'd have to eat actual kilograms of produce to get a clinical effect. That's why these targeted therapies are so necessary. Oh, and here's a crazy side note. Researchers found that excess body fat actually accelerates the creation of zombie cells. Wild, right?
Section 4. The future of aging. Intermittent spring cleaning.
Okay, so bringing it all together, how will you and I actually use this science in our everyday lives in the near future? Because no, we aren't going to be taking a daily handful of anti-aging pills. The future protocol is going to be incredibly precise, and it's completely cyclical. It goes like this. Step 1. Every 6 to 12 months, you head to your doctor for biomarker testing. You check your true biological age and see exactly how much of this cellular trash is piled up. Step 2. If your trash levels are high, your doc prescribes a short course therapy. You'll take a highly targeted bioavailable senolytic drug for just 3 to 5 days. Seriously, that's it. And then Step 3. The long recovery break. You stop the meds completely and just let your body do the work. Over the next few months, your system naturally vacuums up those dead zombie cells, lowers the background inflammation, and powerfully renews your tissues, all while keeping your natural immune defenses totally intact. It is literally routine biological maintenance. So the crucial point we're left with today is this. Right now, the U.S. National Institutes of Health is building this massive project called the SENnet Atlas. They are literally mapping out where every single zombie cell hides in the human body throughout our entire lifespan. The science of longevity is moving straight out of science fiction and into actionable preventative medicine. So my question to you is this. As these tools become widely available, how will you choose to design the architecture of your own health span? Thank you so much for exploring this incredible topic with me today on Insight Spark. Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll catch you in our next explainer.